All right, good afternoon, good evening. It's been a long day. How are you all today? Good, good. If you are a little bit chilly, we have some coffee and some tea over there. If anyone would like any, don't hesitate to get it at any point of this training. I am Captain Spears. I am a Salvation Army officer here at the Salvation Army. Just means I am a pastor. I'm the assistant pastor here at the Salvation Army. Does anybody know what the Salvation Army is? Do you know what we do? Anybody? No? All right, good. I'll tell you. So the Salvation Army, number one, first and foremost, we are a church. Not a lot of people know that, but we are a church. Next thing we do Angel Tree, which is supply clothing, food, toys for children who cannot, for families who cannot provide for themselves. So we do that as well. We also do kettles. That's to raise money for the things that we do here at the Salvation Army all year long. So we do a lot, especially during the Christmas time. Before we start, there's a lot of you. When I did this, I did not picture there was going to be so many. I thought it was going to be like 5 or 6. So I want you to pick 2 things from there. Tell me your name, and you pick the other one. We're just going to go around. Some of you may know each other. I don't know any of you, so I would love to know your name and something about yourself. And I'm going to start right here.
Me?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
I'm Kevin Middleton. I've lived here 30 years, so I guess I'm from here now, or half my life. So, and I'm trying to retire from work. That's one thing.
Okay.
And then my wife and I like to volunteer.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'm his wife. My name's Lindsay Middleton. I'm from Bedford County. Grew up here, and I love helping other people. I like pets, and helping him retire, I guess. Dealing with it.
I'm Lynn McBride. I've been here since '93, but transplant from Pennsylvania to Virginia. So, but I've I've worked at the Community Service Board, I've worked at Johnson Health Center, I do wildlife rehab, and I've got a good friend that did a lot of work with the homeless. And just kind of going out and finding people that were camping in the woods to try and help find them housing. And we've talked a lot about the warming, we didn't call it warming shelter, but a place when the weather gets extreme that people could go to. So I was glad to see this come up.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm Pam Hicks. I live out in Bedford County. I grew up all around the country because my dad was in the Air Force, but I married a man who lived in the same house his whole life. And we settled in this area. I'm an ex-special ed teacher, retired.
Nice. Thank you.
My name is Jamie Costa. I've lived all over the place, but my heart is in Virginia, and I'm really happy to be in Lynchburg because I'm pleasantly surprised with all the things that it has to offer. What else?
3 things or 1 thing about yourself. Hello.
One thing, I jumped out of the airport.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's a good one.
I'm Mark Smith. I lived in this area since 2006. I'm originally from Tennessee. I just recently retired, so I can tell you it's wonderful. And I am looking for volunteer activities that be able to help other people. And I'm working on finding out if it's possible to get tired of fishing, which so far I've not.
Mason, native of the Central Virginia area, work at Croydon Industries and plant control at Google Incorporated until nearly out. I am retired, 85 years old, so still do a lot of walking, do a lot of
born in Lynchburg, raised in Rustburg. One thing about me, I love Christmas.
Hi, my name is Sandra Hayes. I'm originally from Lynchburg, but I live in Concord. I too work at the Department of Emergency Services. One thing about me, I like craft.
I'm Ray Glover. I'm native to the area. I retired at the end of the year. Looking to see what I can do to help others as well.
Veronica Glover. I retired about 5 years ago, and I worked at one point with Community Services Board, Department of Korea, Services, in the state of Virginia, and have real concerns with problems in the city. The recent, which is including the homeless. We actually used to go to church at West Lynchburg and we had homeless, kind of steps frequently. So anyway, one thing about me, we actually was great guys for years.
I'm Mary Stewart Dowell, and I am here primarily because I'm associated with Miriam's house. So I am looking forward to learning more about plans for the school and shelter and helping them. I'm the mom of 3 kids, and my oldest is just married. It's a big transition for me.
And my name is Bob Brennan. I'm also a member of the Miriam House and here to look interested in the homeless situation. Also been involved in the Daily Bread in the past. And my claim to fame is I'm married to this lovely lady right here, Terry Brennan.
Yeah, I'm Terry Brennan, and I am interested in the homeless, just the challenges, and because a lot of involvement on Mary's House Board, her son is works for a similar organization in Charlotte. So they've had a lot of trouble up there because of discrimination. So the idea of a warm, refuge is
My name is Hal Hansen. I'm a transplant from Bridgeport, Connecticut. In the first 10 years. Good things about me: one, I love coffee. 2, I love studying the Bible. Having my faith. 3, I love serving the community. It's right in my wheelhouse.
I'm Sean Varner. I'm the Executive Director of Interfaith Outreach. And 3 things about me. I'm very much a morning person, and I walk 3 miles every morning before I do anything else. And I was actually here last year when the Mormon shelter was open, during the bad cold snap in the early morning and then also in the evening, just to see how things went.
I'm Diane Stroud. I grew up in Lynchburg, retired from teaching English and EC class. I helped ferry my grandchildren to and from school. I'm recently widowed, and I've got time to work at Daily Bread and food for families and Meals on Wheels, and so I just wanted to add this, something else.
Thomas Brennan. I grew up here. I work for a leather company in town. I like to swim, and
Hi, I'm Shelley Blades. I'm from North Carolina, but I've been here long enough that I'm just from here. I like to play with my dog, and I work at Lynchburg Gross.
Nice. Thank you, guys. I know for some of you that was easy. For a lot of you that was hard. Like I said, I am Nisha Spears. I am from a small town in Georgia called Atlanta. I've been here for about a year. 3 things about me: I have 2 cats and a dog. I don't like the quiet, so they keep my house very busy. I love playing basketball, So if I see kids next door, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to play basketball. I love basketball, and I also love to watch football. Philadelphia Eagles is my favorite team. Anybody have a story about extreme weather? Whether it's cold weather, anything? Nobody?
Yeah, I've got, I grew up in northern Minnesota, and one day we went out in the backyard after we woke up, and my dad had built a swing set. It was like 10 feet high, and there was a whole foot of the swing set that you could see, and it was so cold it was unbearable. So,
Did that teach you something?
Well, they taught me to move south. No, people are, people need help.
So this is our extreme weather shelter training. There are some things that I do not know. So if you have questions and I say I don't know, I mean that. I do not know. And so I will figure that out. And maybe we can figure that out together. So the purpose of this training is to provide a basic standard of what our extreme weather shelter should look like. Here are some things that we will learn. We will learn some do's and some don'ts about our extreme weather shelter. We will learn how to ensure the safety of both our volunteers and our guests. And we will learn how to set up and manage an extreme weather shelter. Here in front of you, you have a list, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But before we do, can someone define an extreme weather shelter for me? Does anybody know what an extreme weather shelter is? Can somebody take a guess?
A place for the unhoused to not freeze to death.
Okay, I like it. I should have put that as my definition. Does anybody else?
Or people who've lost heat in their homes.
Exactly.
During the cold weather.
Exactly. So our extreme weather shelter, it often is referred to our emergency shelter or our warming center, and it's just a temporary place for people to find refuge from the extreme cold. Doesn't necessarily have to be the homeless. Last year, some people who did not have electricity. So it's a lot. It's a lot of people. Here are a couple of reasons why our extreme weather shelter is important. If it's too cold outside, what happens? People might freeze to death, right? So our extreme weather shelter is very important, and it helps people from doing just that. What I love most about what I do is the connections that we have with people. And one of the things that this could do is to connect those people who are here, especially if they're homeless, connect them to our social services over there. If you've never been to our Center of Hope, we house some homeless people next door, about 30 to 40, 50 people next door. This could probably help them to enter into our program over there. It could help them get some resources that we also have at our Family Service Center. The cold weather shelter also ensures that our guests who come here have the basic necessities like food, water, and bathrooms. So we do have bathrooms here. We also have showers. So if we do have our extreme weather shelter, we will have some things here. If you have not been to our gym, that's where we do our extreme weather shelter. We will show that later. I'll show that to you later. So you can see a little bit of what it may look like. Our weather shelter is also short term. I did say that. And it also occurs when the weather is below a certain thing. Here it says 32, but if it is too cold to be outside or someone may get frostbite or die from hypothermia, we try to open our extreme weather shelter.
So it just stays vacant, excuse me?
Yeah, no.
It just stays, the gym just stays vacant. I mean, obviously it's used as a gym, I
Right.
would assume, but it's open whenever this happens.
That's correct. Yes, and it's in advance, so people know when it's going to happen. So we do have do's and don'ts of our shelter. Can anybody give me some do's and don'ts? What you think some do's and don'ts are for our shelter? I'll let you think about it for a minute.
You can't come in drunk or on drugs.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. It's real. Don't come in drunk or on drugs. We prioritize the safety. Safety is our number one thing here. So we prioritize safety. So we want our guests to be safe. We also want our volunteers to be safe. So please prioritize safety for both of you. We welcome everybody, a guest, a volunteer, with a smile on our faces because we don't know what people are going through. We don't let dangerous situations or anything go unattended. So a dangerous situation could be somebody simply handing out, I don't know, drugs. It doesn't really happen here, but I'm just giving you the worst case scenario of what could happen. And we don't want those things to go unattended. So if you see something, say something. But seriously, if you do see something, notify personnel. We also want everyone to be treated with dignity. Again, we don't know everybody's story, so we want to treat people like people. If you observe any safety concerns or violations of the shelter policies, we do not ignore them. Again, we report them to our staff members. Again, these are just some of them. I'm not reading all of them. I'm giving you some of them. If you had a do or don't list, what would be on your list? Anyone? Come on, guys. I'm not a talker. Say that again? No weapons. Yes.
Be prepared to listen a lot.
Be prepared to listen a lot. I like it. Give me one more. No judgment. I love it. No judgment. So we have volunteers, and the general purpose of volunteers is to help to supervise and manage our cold weather shelter. That is the purpose. And with that comes duties and responsibilities. Again, safety is very important, so we want everyone to be safe. So volunteers, one of the purposes that you are here is to help people feel safe. And of course, to supervise them. Here are some other things that we do. We maintain a safe, friendly, and supportive environment. We monitor all those who are here, and sometimes we monitor the food. What I mean by that is we do have a feeding station next door where our community gets fed 365 days. So when they are here, they'll go over there to be fed. However, when they are here, they may get hungry later on, so we have snacks that are provided. But because we want to keep those snacks for the next day, or the next day if we do have another extreme weather shelter the next day, we want to make sure that it's rationed. So we want you to look out for that. We also want you to recording who is in our building at all times, whether that is volunteers or staff members. Recording is also very important. We also want you to provide information to someone who may be above you. So a supervisor, a staff member of the Salvation Army or the city, or the officers here. And what you're going to provide them with is the number of people who are in the building at the time. Also provide anything that you may need, resources, water, food, anything, providing all that information so that we can help you better assist the people in our community. Sometimes you have other duties that may not be told to you at first, and we want everybody to be happy and to feel safe. But if we ask you to do something, please do it to the best of your abilities. If you cannot do it, just let us know, and then we will move accordingly. We also have safety procedures. Again, safety, number one thing. And we want you to keep a list of emergency contacts, whether that's the poison people, we already know the number to 911, whether that's the shelter management. All of this will be readily available for you, but we want to make sure that you know where it is at all times. So just in case something does happen, you can call the appropriate personnel. Does anyone have any questions? Because I'm talking very fast. All right. We also want to make sure that all staff has a means to communicate with the outside world or with each other. So we do have walkie-talkies here. We do have landlines here. We have a backup generator here as well. So if the power goes out, we still have something here. So that's just a way that everyone can communicate with each other. We also want to make sure that hygiene and the sanitary areas are good to go for later or the next day. We want to make sure those are kept clean at all times. We have rules for our guests, just as we have rules for our volunteers. Some of you said some rules already. No weapons, no drugs, be courteous and respectful to others. No in and out after midnight, because we want everyone to stay in one area so we can see them. No disturbing the other guest. Quiet time is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if they have things that they bring in here, we have to check it. We have metal detectors, so as they come in, they'll be checked. We also have security that will be outside during this time as well. Does anybody have any other rules for our guests? Can anybody think of one? Or did I have them all? Okay, so we also have health safety. Again, safety is our number one thing here, and we want to make sure that our guests and our volunteers feel safe at every point that they are here. So we ask that we have first aid kits available with gloves, with hand sanitizer, sanitizer wipes, all of those things. We also want to make sure that if it's not a first aid kit or if it's not something that can be helped with a Band-Aid or wiping it off, that you contact your personnel who you're supposed to contact and let them come in or contact 911 because we want everyone to feel safe. The last one is also important. We will have a station for people who are sick. So if someone is sick and they're ill and they do not want to be helped by the paramedics or anything, we have a station for them away from everyone else that they will stay in until our shelter is closed. Conflict resolution. You can tell someone something once, and if they do it again, your job as a volunteer is to not kick them out. Your job is to contact personnel. Personnel will then deal with that person and determine what to do next with that person. Here, it is not our job to try to kick someone out because it's too cold for anybody to be outside. But we try to do the best that we can with what we do have. But your job is to inform them that if a disturbance continues, the next step is to remove that individual. But again, that's not for you. That is for personnel. We have first aid kits that will be available for you in our extreme weather shelter. There'll be at least two of them that are in different areas so that you can find them at all times. Again, if something occurs, do not hesitate to call 911, but before you do that, contact personnel so that we know what is going on if we are not here. We have supplies that are available, whether that's water, food, anything, we have those, and they will most likely be in that room in the gym. Everything will be available for you in that area. 32 degrees or less is when we will open our extreme weather shelter, and normally we have about 20 to 30 guests approximately, unless we have room for more. Normally we do not have room for more, but if we do, we'll have more guests here. Do you have any questions? Please ask a question.
There's more, say 50 people show up.
We will try our best to accommodate them because, again, we're not trying to throw anybody out. So we will try. We have space here. So we'll do our best to accommodate everybody that comes here.
So are there satellite places to send them or no? Other places?
I do not have an answer to that.
The city has extra cots in addition to what you all have here.
Okay.
Where are they like? Where would they be?
Where would the cots be?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of a separate
Oh,
facility.
no, it's huge. The gym is huge, and they separate the men
Okay.
and the women. It's closed off, so, yeah.
So how long's the warming station been operating?
So last year, I believe it was 2 to 3 days that it operated. Again, it was because the weather was so extreme outside. That's why we call it an extreme weather shelter and not a cold weather shelter. So when it's cold, people are still outside. When it was extreme weather, they're inside.
So was last year the first year?
Now, the Salvation Army had run it for years before the pandemic. I don't know about during the pandemic.
Not during.
But this happened over literally Christmas.
Yeah, over
like
Christmas.
2 days before Christmas and 2 days after Christmas. And it was open during the day for that.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
excuse me, it
Oh.
was open at night for that, not during the day.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what time can people come in?
Normally, so thank you for asking that. So here, if you look at your papers, somebody wrote down a time. Don't mind the staples. Someone gave you a draft time at the back, all the way at the back, number 9. And they said it was from 6 to 10. Sorry, that's when it opened. So if they had transportation and all of this, this was the general idea between the city, the Salvation Army, and our partners of what time people would get here and what time we would open. So we would open at 6 o'clock, and then again, they would leave by 8.
They can't, okay, they can be here all day then.
No, in the
It says here that it opens at 7. Station opens for gas.
yeah, but last year, if I remember, we did open at 6 o'clock, not 7.
People are able to eat beforehand.
Yes.
And so that opens at what? 5?
That opens at 5.
So, and I think that they
Move them over here.
That was closed, and that's when they made their way.
Yes. And so on the front of your page, it looks, this is the form, the intake form that you would fill out for individuals.
I practice on myself.
Okay, good, good.
When the station is open and volunteers are here, there'll be one person assigned at intake or
Yes.
and one person assigned to.
So when I was here in the beginning of last year, when the people came in to volunteer, they did it amongst themselves of who would do what. So who would manage and try to straighten up cots, who would come in and sign the people up, who would make sure or count people during the evening. They did all kinds of things. So it's a team effort to try to get it all done. We also have a checklist. These are things that'll be here for you just to let us know what's going right, what's going wrong. If the toilets is messed up, we need to know that. So this is just to say that everything is in order. That's your second sheet. We're not going to talk about the pages, but that's your second sheet there, and that's very important to fill out during the time. And that's just your checklist. And again, these are just the rules. I put the rules on the PowerPoint, but you have the rules here for yourself for the staff that come here. Anyone have any more questions? Yes, ma'am. Families are allowed, pets are not allowed. Last year, if I remember correctly, there was a man who had a dog, and they tried to get him into the shelter. I do not know what happened with that situation, but I know they tried to get the dog into the shelter until that time. Or they try to accommodate people.
But where you're separating the men from the women, there's another area where families can actually stay.
You know what? I did say yes to that, and I don't think so. If I'm looking here, there was men, there was women, and there were people who were sick, and they had like a curtain, so they were away from everybody else. But children and women, I believe, were together, not the men and children. Sorry. Please, yes.
So am I understanding correctly that there's always someone from Salvation Army here? You're just supplementing that?
There will always be someone at the Salvation Army here on the premises, whether that's here or whether that's over there. There will always be someone on the premises.
And someone from the city also, who will be, there will always be a supervisor in the gym, like from the city, whether it's EMS or whether it's human services. They'll always be, volunteers are not there at all. And there is always a Salvation Army staff person in the
Correct, in that building.
If the TV's not working, or if the pipes burst, or whatever happens, to run to get them there. But there's always two paid people here with experience.
Are
Who
there
can
any
make the
issues?
decisions and then help, people know what they're supposed to do.
Are there any issues with indemnification or liability that arise?
Since we've done it, no. Not since we've done it. Anyone else? I'll take another question.
You did say security was available.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
if somebody needed to be removed.
Yes. So there was, if I'm wrong, please someone correct me. There was a police officer here last year that was outside over there. So I don't know if he was there all night, but I was told that security was there.
They were in and out.
There you go.
Just, they weren't in the shelter, but they were near. Oh, yeah.
Patrolling. Okay.
Not so that people necessarily saw them, but they were in and out.
Oh, what are the times, I guess it was on that sheet, the times that the volunteers would be working?
Yes.
And
So
how long?
that I'm not sure what time volunteers get here or what time they're supposed to arrive.
It's going to be in 4-hour shifts, or you could sign up for 2 shifts back to back for a total of 8. So,
And they're just in the evening, correct, when they're here?
right, and overnight.
Right.
Yeah, so that,
You could intake them, but not stay all night.
well, there's some people that started out in the beginning when it opened and were there till like midnight. They just, but you sign up for that so that you know that. And then there are people that come in at
Early in the morning.
12 to 4 maybe, or 4 to 8, or 12, yeah. Or 12 to 8 if they're. Yeah, Christmas morning, the city manager and the fire chief and assistant city, all the city people were there at like 5 when I got here, so.
So can you describe roughly, if you, at best,
If I
that's
can.
what you know, what's a typical, okay, now we're going to have the shelter open, when does the sheet come out, or like some notification to sign up, and, you know, can you walk us through how that might?
I was told, literally before this meeting, that you volunteer, they would ask for volunteers, the city would, and you would go from there.
Okay.
Can you speak more about that?
The reason we got everybody's emails is so that when there is, it looks like there is going to be extended weather, not just it dropping to 32 for an hour one night. They'll send an email out to everyone, and there'll be a portal of sorts where you'll be able to sign up for what shifts that you want to do on what days.
Okay. So basically, it's sort of, at best, you're going to know probably 3 days ahead of time, but
I think
more than
that's-
likely it'd be more short notice, right, that you.
Yeah, I think last year, wasn't it 2 to 3, I mean, it was 2 to 3 days. And then, you know, and then if the sun comes out and you don't need it, then you don't have to come. But I think that last year especially, that was pretty, so good.
How many volunteers do you need for midnight?
Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. So what I know, which is limited, I believe it's by 5 to 6 people a night. That's what I know.
Per shift?
Per shift, yes. Any more questions?
So with regard to the cleaning responsibility, does that belong to volunteers? Do they
Yes.
use the facility, or?
So we rely on volunteers a lot. So volunteers will be able to help with that as well, cleaning.
You have laundry facilities here, I assume there'll be sheets on the cots.
Not here, but in there, yes, we do have,
Get those
yeah.
off and transported over.
Oh, of course, yeah.
All right.
If we have different residents, we'll definitely go in and wash and dry the sheets so the same people aren't using the same thing over and over, for sure.
So they can't stay all day if it's under 32 degrees. They cannot stay all day.
No, because
It's just at night.
at night, yes,
But
not during the day.
they have to leave.
I think because many facilities have heat during the day, they can stay there.
Just to direct them somewhere, so the library said.
Any more? Yes, ma'am.
Does the Salvation Army provide hygiene kits for these folks, like soap and toothbrush and washing?
Yes. So because we do have people who donate all that stuff, we do have a supply of those things that we have for them over here.
And how many days, like last year, did this, you said only 3 or 4 days?
It wasn't a lot. It was like 3 to 4 or
Mild,
2 to 3.
so
Yeah.
mild.
It wasn't as extreme, but they did have it for sure. Anyone else? No?
Do you know, because I'm such an animal lover, and it's a question I hadn't thought of, if somebody comes with a pet, do you know if the Humane Society will house a pet for a few days for somebody that's old and can't get up?
I would like to think so, but again, I don't know, only because we had that problem, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if the Salvation Army decided to give that person a hotel with their animal. I don't know. But that's definitely a question that we can ask. I can ask the city or the Humane Society. What can we do with that?
What about future training, because the notice for this was like 4 days?
When it comes to future training, I hope that my senior pastor, Major Caleb Prieto, can be here to give you guys a better training, to give you more information.
I just mean the number of volunteers. I know there are more people who would go through this training to be able to do it, and if it's a stipulation that you have to have gone through the training in order to be a volunteer, well, we want to go back to our churches and say, here's an opportunity. And I know the video.
They do record it, yeah.
Is that all that you need to do?
I'm not sure. I know that when it comes to training here for Salvation Army, you have to do a training in person. Congratulations, guys. It wasn't brutal. I hope you have completed your training. Again, if you have friends who want to do this training, I'm told it's on there so they can do it easily. Don't forget to sign your name, your email, and your phone number over here. And thank you guys for coming. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.